Welcome, Admirals, to my um, final video, and this is for my campaign, and this is going to be kind of a review and lessons learned kind of thing. So, we fought the whole campaign right to the very end. Okay, and one of the things that I didn't do in my last in the last part was to take a look at the reports. So let's take a look at the reports first of all. And we see Japan is now down to 750, but they had a huge amount of error. And that's one of the things that I think that probably, if I could tweak the game a little bit more, is that I would, those aircraft cost a lot. I would have Japan build some ships, okay, like merchants, if nothing else. Okay, because once you sink all their merchants, they're really hurting. All right. Um, you can see how big our fleet grew. Over 300 plus Australia. Let's take a look at casualties. In the end, um, I think we got quite a few casualties on them. Sunk most of their fleet, sunk all their merchants, escorts. And taking a look at the sunk ships, uh, I believe there were 3 aircraft carriers left that were kind of hiding, and that was um, all that was left of the Japanese Navy. When you look at the game, I personally wasn't able to figure out how to use all this production, okay, generated by the Brits, okay, because their logistics is so low. Here I've got 5, but what I did was I I I took a let's see here. I took um, one of their large cores, and you see 30 logistics, and I disbanded it after we had won the war basically in Burma. And so, and you come back over here, and now you got 35. And I was using that for Oilers, which uses one per, and you need one logistics for each Oiler. So that's why I had some logistics left. But they had a ton of stuff, and in the end, it was kind of a pity that they couldn't um, use those um, in some way. My stockpile for the Americans, as you can see, is huge, and I still got a huge amount of logistics. Um, let's take a look at Soviet Union, same kind of thing. I mean, most of my people, even communist China, with this so little help. India, Mongolia joined the war. It's interesting when Mongolia joins the war, and I get their stuff there. Okay, and even New Zealand had a bunch of stuff there. Um, when I look back at my choices of of uh, in my choices of the technology. So I had this guy, which I thought was pretty much I think it's at the top, right? And and so he doesn't make it to 45. Nobody will make it to 45. So that's one thing. That's a lesson to learn, is that once you get to 44, start you can or getting close to 44, you can start parceling your stuff around to other people. Soviet Union and China. Um, so I had a huge navy when this thing was over with. Okay. And I think most of it's over here. Look at all these carriers. I bought 7 light carriers. Yeah. And as it turns out, the guys who were the most important, I think from a strategic point of view, I were these guys down here, the submarines, because they were the ones who destroyed the merchant marine. And once their merchant marine was destroyed, then there wasn't much they could do, and that's a huge and important part. I didn't try it, but another thing that could have been done, that I could have done, is to have used, instead of strategic bombers here, um, or when they were down here, there were some air support things, and some of these guys actually were able to help in here if you wanted to use them. Overall, my strategic plan, when you look at here, you can see all the stuff here. Okay. And what you see is, as you're coming into this area here, you start getting very low numbers. And while while I believe I was backed up here all the way to Cyan. I felt this was a better route, was to try to move my guys through this area here, because you've got lots of good supply, and then come down and get down to Hong Kong. As it turned out, I was getting lots and lots of trucks and so forth, and probably I should have been buying infantry so that I could send up more people up here and get up here quicker. Okay? You got to get up here quicker so that to get the Russians in the war here. But even saying that, since the victory points were all taken, okay, then you're going to get a major victory out of it. I know that, and overall it played like the actual war. You had to come up here, take over this area, and then you go up into the Pacific, and work your way over to the Philippines. Okay. And then closing in on Japan. So the game actually plays pretty realistic as far as the war actually moved. The thing that I still don't, um, I got one time I was able to decrypt their codes, but even still, I was only getting low detection. I'm not sure if that would have made a difference in some of the situations where I had fleets where I couldn't hit them. It may have. I'm still a little foggy on that, and so my play with the comment is probably wasn't ideal. Overall, I think the game is a good one. Um, they've got pretty much all the bugs solved out of this game. So I think if you enjoy this kind of uh, strategic game, and it is a big strategic game, man, big strategic game, with weather impacting things, and although you think, hey, this is a Navy game, and it is. The Americans are going to, in the end, going to take these islands and all this. The real fight, I think, is in China. That's the real fight, and also pushing through to Burma. Those were two real hard fights. Staying, maintaining myself, um, the Chinese, without being swamped, and pushing the Japanese out of Indochina and Burma. So like I say, it was it was a an interesting experience. I enjoyed the game. Maybe one of the things that they might want to look into also is having an extended campaign, and allowing you to try to actually invade Japan and have to take Tokyo to as the final point to win victory, because that would change things quite a lot as well. It would change things, I think, quite a bit. That would be an interesting option, to have um, a fight to the end kind of thing, an option to care to continue. Okay, at the end of the war, and off you go. But overall, I really enjoyed the game. I think it's worth the money, and um, if you're on the fence, I mean, the supply system is a little bit difficult to get into, but that's the backbone of this game, is the supply. So once you figure out the supply, then you're off to the races, and in for a good game. So, like I say, I enjoyed the campaign, and I would say it's a decent game, and it's nice to play as the Allies um, in a World War II game. So, thanks for watching, everybody, and you all take care now. Until the next time, I'll see you later.